So, you guys, I just recorded my Florian Wirtz conflicted video, and I thought, you know what? I actually haven't checked today what Aimia Sanmia on Twitter was posting about what's going on with my football club, Bayern. And I'm scrolling and I'm reading and I'm learning, guys. I'm learning. I'm learning about the ins and outs of my beautiful, beautiful football club. It's a great football club. Aye, aye, Captain. I run into this. Bayern and Leroy Sane have reached an agreement over a new contract. I wasn't happy when I read that. But anyway, let's see. The deal is expected to be finalized next week. 3-year contract until 2028. Great. I mean, another 3 years of Leroy Sane. Yay, guys. Yes. Yes. Come on, Leroy. My favorite. Salary 10 million euros fixed plus 5 million euros bonuses, reported by Alto Belli and CF Bayern. And if you're on Twitter, you know these two are some of the most credible reporters on everything happening at Bayern. So if these guys reported, bro, they're like the Fabrizio Romano of Bayern. This is true. This is happening. We'll get the announcement next week, like the tweet says. Let's start with the positives, okay? Cool. Coman is leaving in the summer. We're going to try to sell Serge Gnabry. It is what it is. It's probably not smart to sell 3 wingers. So I understand the thought process behind this. Okay, Coman will leave. We'll get 50 million for him and clear his 70 million wage. We want to try and sell Gnabry and clear his 20 million a year in wages off the wage budget. I get it. And Leroy Sane is more dependable than those guys. Coman and Gnabry are too injury prone. They barely play for us throughout a whole 9-month-long season. I understand that. I really do. Second positive thing, so it's not a good idea to sell 3 wingers off in one summer when you're expecting to make 140 million pounds, 130 million euro signing of Florian Wirtz. Okay, I get that. Second positive thing, 50% wage decrease. Right now, Leroy Sane is on 20 million euros fixed a year, if I'm not mistaken. He is being decreased to 10 million euros. You guys, that's a 50% increase. So, extension-wise, wage-wise, Eberel did good work here. He's keeping a winger on who is, Leroy Sane is good enough for the Bundesliga to be a bench player or to be, a squad player or whatever. 10 million a year, cool. And the 5 million in bonuses is a performance-based bonuses. So this is a very heavily performance-based contract. Leroy Sane can only earn that 5 million if he actually plays good. So those are the positives. We have to we can't sell all of our wingers this summer. It's just not feasible. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't sell 3 wingers in one season, in one summer, right? So we're keeping one of our wingers, and we were managed to decrease his wage by 50%. That's cool. This is where I'm mad. It's the fact that he's just not good enough to have a meaningful impact for Bayern in the big moments. When it really matters, he just does not have the ability. He has not showed it. He has not showed at Bayern that he has the capability to perform in big moments for this team. Big moments. Now, the one coach I will give credit to is Thomas Tuchel, that bum Thomas Tuchel. He was the only guy to produce big moments out of Leroy Sane. Thomas Tuchel last year, the first half of the season, Leroy Sane genuinely a top 10 player in Europe. From August to December, he was excellent. He looked like the old Leroy Sane. In fact, he looked like the best Leroy Sane we've ever seen, right? Then he falls off a cliff in the second half of the season, but credit to Tuchel, he was able to get Leroy Sane to perform against Arsenal and Real Madrid. Remember, Leroy Sane had a very good first leg against Arsenal. He won the penalty for us in the Emirates. And then against Real Madrid, he had that banger goal coming off from the right side of the field with his left foot, showing you the quality of Leroy Sane. But the issue is Leroy Sane has been here for, 5 seasons, and he's given us barely any moments in the big games. And I was actually team extend Leroy Sane until we saw these Inter Milan games. Why? Why? Because, bro, before the Inter Milan games, Leroy Sane was kind of cooking. He was actually playing well. He was scoring in consecutive games. He actually looked like he had a brain. But then the Inter Milan games happened. And you just saw against a very good team in Inter Milan, a very defensively solid team, in fact. He, on the left side, was useless. Yes, people complain about Goretzka. Yes, people complain about Sasha Bowie from the first leg against Inter. The worst player, the least impactful player for Bayern across 2 legs was Leroy Sane on the left side. He offered us nothing. And, I saw that and I thought, you know what? Why would we extend a player that in these big moments, whether he's a starter or coming off the bench, he will not impact the game for us? He just doesn't have it. He just doesn't. And I would have actually a little bit more optimism about this if I knew Leroy Sane would actually potentially get to play some games from the right wing. Because to be honest, I think Leroy Sane, with the way he likes to play football these days, he's just suited more for the right wing. The issue for Leroy Sane, however, is Michael Olise has came to this football club and he has established himself and he's taken that right wing position for himself. And he is, along with Mohamed Salah and Lamine Yamal, a top 3 right winger in the world. Leroy Sane is not going to bench Michael Olise. He just isn't. From what I saw from Michael Olise this season, he's going to be a consistent player for Bayern, and he's going to play that right wing position until the day he leaves the football club. He will. So, what is Leroy Sane's what's the goal here for Leroy Sane? Because if we're bringing in Florian Wirtz and we're going to push Jamal Musiala out to the left wing, okay, I'll accept the fact, okay, Leroy Sane off the bench, it's not a bad option to have. It just isn't. He's not world class. He's a bozo at times, but compared to other teams across Europe, it's not a bad option off the bench. But if we are planning for this guy to be an option off the bench, yes, I praised the 50% pay cut, but 10 million euros still a year plus a supposed 5 million euros in add-ons in salary for a bench player is also just too much. It's also just too much. So, honestly, I'm trying to not be too negative here because you have to be real. At the same time, you have to be real. Everyone in this football club, the entire fan base is saying we need to get rid of Sané, Gnabry, and Coman. Well, guess what? No club in Europe would ever sell 3 wingers in one summer. They wouldn't. It's not feasible because then you'd have to build a lot of your squad back and spend a lot of money to replace those wingers. So I understand the mindset of Eberel, we need to keep at least one of these wingers on. I understand that. And out of the 3, I would prefer Sané. Honestly, I would. Because he's not as injury prone. He's there. He's available. Now, different story if Gnabry wasn't so injury prone. If Gnabry wasn't so injury prone and he was consistently fit and was able to play games all season long, I would 1,000% prefer Serge Gnabry to be extended on a pay decrease than Leroy Sane. Because Serge Gnabry just gives you more. With his return to injury now, the games against Inter and in the Bundesliga, he's already showing way more than Leroy Sane has on a more consistent basis. But unfortunately, Gnabry is injury prone. He's injury prone, so we need to sell him. What's the point? We need to sell him. We'll see if we're going to be able to sell him in the summer. He apparently wants to stay and run out the last year on his contract. So Gnabry might be staying as well. And Coman is for sure leaving in the summer. He is for sure leaving Bayern in the summer. So Leroy Sané on a 50% decrease for 3 years, it's not the worst thing in the world, because I am assuming that we're bringing in a Florian Wirtz. We're going to try to bring in, if it's not Florian Wirtz, a Ryan Cherky or a quality player to replace guys like Gnabry and Zane and Coman in the starting lineup, right? I'm expecting that. But I don't know, bro. I don't know. I just don't know. It's such a weird scenario as well, because, like I said, it is not responsible at all for Bayern to just sell all 3 wingers in one summer. It's not. So we need to keep 1 or 2 of these guys. Looks like we're keeping Zane. Coman is leaving. Gnabry we're gonna try and sell. I don't know. I'm not happy about it. And another thing I'm actually not too pleased about is the length of the contract. 3 years? So Leroy Sané can hypothetically milk out 30 million euros across 3 years from this football club. He's already been destroying our wage bill the last 4 or 5 years, doing absolutely jack shit. Yes, he's on a 50% pay cut now, but for 3 years, that's still 10 mil. You guys, that's still 10 mil over each season. That's 30 mil. I don't know. Like, I think, honestly, if I'm being honest, if Vision Company was not our manager, I don't think he's getting this extension. I do think Vision Company has a soft spot for Leroy Sané. Remember, Vision Company was Man City captain, leader of the early Pep Guardiola Manchester City teams, when young Leroy Sané came from Schalke and was tearing it up in the Premier League as a 20-year-old, 21-year-old. So obviously, Company has a soft spot for him. And managers are allowed to have their favorites, but I don't know. Even in this video, you could see in my mind how I'm flip-flopping back and forth. The positives, okay, we're decreasing his wage by 50%. Okay, he is going to be reduced to a squad role. He will only start if he is deserving to restart, because we're going to try to bring in a Florian Wirtz into the team. Okay, cool. Fine by me. The negatives. He just hasn't shown the level that we need from a Bayern player the last 4 seasons. He hasn't. Negatives, 3-year contract. That's 30 million across 3 years total. At least 30 million. I don't get it, bro. I don't get it, but I also understand it. It's so annoying when you have to. It's so annoying when there isn't just a clear answer to this. Oh, let's just sell him. Oh, let's just do this. Because, like I said, man, 1,000 times in this video already, we can't just go and sell 3 wingers in one summer. It's just not feasible. It's not responsible squad planning. No team on this planet, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Liverpool, City, PSG, Inter, whoever, no team on this planet sells 3 wingers specifically in one summer. It's not responsible squad planning. So I'm mad. But put yourselves in Eberl's shoes. He came to this club. These 3 players were at this club on long-term contracts, on a lot of money. He is not an idiot. He's telling himself, and he's telling the Bayern board, he's telling his co-workers, everyone around him, bro, we cannot sell 3 wingers in one summer. It's stupid. We need to keep at least 1 or 2 of these guys on. Let's keep Leroy Sané because he is the most available and fit out of the 3. Fair enough. It's just one of these scenarios where, as a Bayern fan, for Bayern fans, you just can't really win here. You can't really win, because if we were to sell Leroy Sané and sell Gnabry and sell Coman, we would have sold, again, 3 wingers in one summer, and our attack is all of a sudden kind of depleted. But in the other scenario, where we extend him and we keep him, we're now extending a player who just hasn't been good enough. And we're really only extending him because we want to sell the other 2, because the other 2 are injury prone and have been checked out for a while. It is what it is, bro. It is what it is. Leroy Sané, I have to endure you for another 3 years at least. At least don't make it painful. Leroy Sane, at least don't make it painful. Do not play like an idiot for 3 years. At least give me some moments to cheer for. At least, Leroy. You guys, it's been your boy Hokage. That's all I want to say about this. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Oh, my eyes.